What's going on, everybody? I'm Grim Repair. Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to replace an alternator on a Nissan Pathfinder. Tools you're going to need are a 10mm flathead screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, 10mm socket, 12mm wrench, a 14mm socket deep, and a jack and jack stands. There'll be links down below for any special tools and all the parts. If this video helps you out, be sure to give it a like. First thing you're going to do is pop the hood. We're going to take a 10mm, loosen these two screws here, and this panel is just going to lift off. There's two more right here on this panel. I'm going to loosen those. Take a flathead screwdriver, remove this hose clamp and this hose clamp. This is attached here, so we're just going to twist it and set it up out of the way. The alternator is located down there. Right here is the belt tensioner. You're going to need a 3/8 breaker bar to remove tension on the tensioner right there in the center, and we're going to remove the belt. And we're going to go counterclockwise with it. And just slide the belt off. Note how it's routed. And we just need to get it off the alternator, so if you can kind of just keep it kind of tight and out of the way. I'm going to remove the ratchet here in between these two hoses to hold the belt there so it doesn't fall down. I'm going to take a 10mm, remove the negative battery post. Next we're going to jack the vehicle up. Slide a jack stand under. Now we're going to take a 13/16 and remove the passenger side wheel. Now we're going to remove this plastic inner wheel well. It's mostly going to be Phillips screws. Got two under here. Of plastic nylons up in here that a couple of them are broken. Got a screw down here by the step. Alright, and it's out, and the alternator is right here down below the power steering, and we're replacing it because it squeaks a little bit, and that just means that its bearings are starting to go out. I'd rather do it now than on the side of the road somewhere. I'm just reaching up over this control arm, and I'm reaching back behind the alternator and squeezing and removing one of the electrical connectors. So I don't have to worry about damaging that when I pull it off. And then there's the battery post up above it. Battery post is pretty sturdy though, so we could probably remove the alternator mounting bolts to make it easier to get to that plug. Here's the new alternator. I got links down in the description if you want to get the same one. You can kind of see where the mounting bolts are going to be by looking at the new one. A lower alternator bolt is a 12mm. Kind of have to remove this oil cooler hose, not remove it, but move it out of the way to get to it. I got a 1/2 inch drive, longer one. Make it a little bit easier. That bolt's pretty stuck. It's also a flex head, so there we go. All right, now that it's loose, probably get in there with my electric ratchet. Gonna loosen up the top one also, the 14mm. You got a deep socket on this 14mm so we can clear the pulleys. I think my lower fan shroud has been removed here, so you may have to remove that to get a little more room in here. Looks like it clips in right here. It's gone, so we had a fan pulley break at one point and it kind of tore some things up. So if you can't get your wrench in there, you might remove that. I believe this one's loose from the threads. It's just kind of wedged in there now. All right, doesn't seem to want to come out anymore by twisting it. I'm gonna slide it out. It's a pretty long bolt. There you go. But it only has a little bit of threads on it. Now we should be able to wiggle that alternator out and remove that battery post from the back side. It's kind of hard to show you, but the battery post is going up and over the control arm here and looking down at it from the back, and I can see the battery post. There's also feels like the wiring harness is clipped onto it somehow, so you might have to pop that off. It's really hard to show you with this camera, but you can feel it. All right, that one came off. Not sure if it broke or not, but there we go. I used one of these clip removal tools and just kind of stuck it in there and twisted it. Doesn't feel like they broke. They're still attached to the alternator. So now we're going to remove that post on top of it where the battery cable goes. I'm going to use a wrench just because I think it'll be easiest to get in there. Then once we get it loose, we could pretty much spin it off with our hand. I'm just reaching over the control arm and twisting it off up there. There we go. And it should be free to come out. There we go, and it's out. And these were those zip tie clips I was talking about. It doesn't look like they're broken, so that's good. They were just in there like that, and I kind of went in here with this tool and just twisted this here, and they popped out. Hopefully we can pop them out of this without breaking them. Use the same tool, just kind of walk them out. That one came out. Same thing on this back one. There we go. Put them in the new one. And they just pop in. There we go. You want to compare these two alternators, make sure they're the same. Make sure that the plug's the same, you got the same amount of pins, the bolt holes are in the right spots. And I'm gonna go ahead and put it back in. Installation is gonna be reversive removal. You're gonna wanna make sure you get both your alternator bolts started before you tighten them all the way down. When you're putting it back in, that bottom bolt may not line up right on the alternator. It's goes through a bracket, and there's a 12mm bolt right on the other side of the alternator. Here, if you loosen that, that bracket will swing around a little bit, and you can wiggle it in to get that bottom bolt started into the alternator. And that's it. High five, you did it. Thanks for watching.